Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name's Kit, and this is my world. Thank you very much for joining me. I say this is my world, it's kind of crumbling around my ears at the moment, so this will be a slightly different episode, and for that I apologise. If you're new, I promise this isn't standard, and if you're a regular viewer, I apologise for not being my normal bubbly and cheerful self. For anyone who doesn't know, I have a variety of mental health issues. I have bipolar disorder, which I'm currently experiencing quite a bad flare-up of, as it were, and I also have autism, Asperger's syndrome, which makes life challenging as well. And recently I've been experiencing some challenges. I've been going through a bit of a rough patch. I'm not going to pour out my heart to you and make this a depressing and miserable video, but I will just explain to you that that's why I've been a little bit strange lately. I haven't been joining in as much with the community as I normally do, and as much as I would like to. I've had a few meltdowns behind the scenes. My boyfriend has had to talk me down off the ledge a few times. When I did my BookTube newbie tag, I explained that my mental health was poor and promised that you would have front row seats for my next meltdown. And I'm sorry you didn't get to see it, but as it turns out, that stuff's kind of private and personal. And by the way, I also want to apologise for missing an upload. For the few people who have been enjoying my Farseer Fridays, I'm really sorry I missed the upload on Friday. I filmed the video twice. I went to a beautiful castle in the sunshine and filmed a video at the castle, but I wasn't happy with that, so I went to the woods and filmed it all over again in the woods. And I started editing that, and then I just couldn't work up the necessary inspiration and motivation based on very poor viewing figures for the previous video. So for the people who have been enjoying the Farseer Fridays, I will be continuing. I'll get that edited at some point and get it uploaded hopefully in time for next Friday. But I apologise for the missed upload. And also I apologise to all my friends for lack of contributions to their channels as well. I've been struggling, what can I say? My mental health is not in a good way at the moment. Anyway, all of that said, it seemed fitting to fill you in on the sadness that has been going on in my brain lately, because I'm going to be doing a tag, and this is the Pain Over Joy reading tag by Jessica at Lady Lovestead Reads. I adore Jessica. She's one of my favourite booktubers. She's lovely. She's an incredibly talented pianist. She's very intelligent. She's a really good booktuber, and I was delighted that she, the originator of this tag, tagged me herself. That's kind of an honour. I'm quite chuffed about that. And I was also tagged by Sina at Beating About the Books. In fact, I actually saw the tag first on Sina's channel and then immediately went over to Jessica's channel to see her version of it and noticed that I'd been double tagged. So despite my poor mental health, I'm doing this one because people that I really care about have tagged me, and it would be incredibly rude and churlish not to join in. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Question number 1. Do you mostly read books illustrating pain or books illustrating joy, and why? Lately, it's been very much the former. Of course, I'm immersed in the Farseer books, the Elderlings books. The Realm of the Elderlings, I think that's what they're officially called, but they're the Farseer books by Robin Hobb, and they're very sad and kind of bleak and depressing. Not nearly as any of those things as I had been remembering from my first read-through, which was years and years ago. I remembered them being much more depressing than they actually are, but they're still certainly about pain rather than joy. There's almost no joy in the books at all. It's pretty much a study of pain. And I don't know, actually, how much that might have been affecting my mood and how much of the depression I'm experiencing at the moment might be because of those books. It's entirely possible that they've had a contributing factor. But certainly at the moment, the books I'm reading are all about pain and not at all about joy. Question number 2. Do you see books about pain as more intellectually valuable why or why not? I wouldn't say more or less intellectually valuable. I would say more intellectually stimulating. I think books about pain tend to be, for me personally, more intellectually stimulating because they tend to go deeper, and anything that goes deeper is likely to be more stimulating. Why did that sound rude? That was not supposed to sound smutty, but somehow it did. Anyway, see, now I'm distracted. I have a very dirty mind. What was the question? Books about pain more intellectually valuable. Intellectually valuable? No, they're not more intellectually valuable. I think books are inherently intellectually valuable, and more people should read and enjoy reading and explore the vast world of literature that's out there. So it's all of value. For me personally, I think the painful ones tend to go a little bit deeper, and the deeper they go, the more stimulating they become to my intellect, I suppose, and also to my emotions, because I am bipolar. My emotions kind of rule me. So all of that stuff makes them stimulating. Question number 3. Why do you think major book prizes like the Booker and the Pulitzer mainly award books about pain? Honestly, I didn't know that. I have never paid any attention, not even the teeniest, tiniest bit of attention to book prizes or awards. They have never interested me. I'm aware that my grandma got an Eleanor Farjon award, which apparently is very prestigious, but other than that, I've had no interest in awards, and I couldn't really hazard a guess as to why books about pain apparently do better. Maybe because those people think that the ones about pain are more valuable. Yeah. I'm going to take my cue from the previous question and suggest that possibly it's because the judges in such things do consider the answer to question 2 to be that books about pain are more intellectually valuable. But I respectfully disagree. Question number 4. Do you use and agree with the phrase guilty pleasure? Why or why not? Okay, well, I must confess that I do use the phrase guilty pleasure, but not in relation to books. I don't feel guilty about the books I enjoy. I feel a little bit intellectually inferior. I do have a slight inferiority complex about the fact that I tend to read books that aren't as challenging as some. I'm not big on classic Russian literature, for example. I don't feel like a proper booktuber. You're aware of this about me. My viewing figures tend to bear that out as well. But as far as guilty pleasure is concerned, I tend to save that phrase to describe the fact that I enjoy a little bit of reality television. It's true, I do. Question number 5. Do you think books centering joy are guilty pleasures? No. I don't think anyone should feel guilty about anything, as long as it doesn't harm or affect anyone else, or any animals particularly. I think you should be allowed to enjoy whatever sort of entertainment you enjoy, and you should never feel guilty about it, and you should never apologise for it or need to explain or justify it. I think that's very, very important. And again, I can't really use books or literature as an example on this question, but I'm going to discuss my first love, my primary love, the thing that fills my soul with joy, which is musical theatre. I grew up in musical theatre. Both my parents were actors. My dad was in the original West End production of Little Shop and the original production of Phantom of the Opera, which he toured internationally. I was a musical theatre kid. I grew up in dressing rooms and backstage at all the theatres. And yet I felt ashamed of this. I was bullied at school because of it. I tried to hide it away. I love listening to the soundtrack recordings for musicals. But when I was a kid and I would have my Walkman, I would have it turned down really low because I was frightened that the other kids would be able to hear that I was listening to musicals rather than, I don't know, Michael Jackson or Wham or Bros or whoever it was that was popular at the time. I was embarrassed by the fact that I was a musical theatre nerd, and I wasn't listening to the stuff that the cool kids were listening to. And I resent that now. Because that mentality has kind of permeated throughout the rest of my adult life as well. And just recently, I discovered the joy of openly declaring my love of musical theatre. And it's kind of like coming out all over again, because it's nothing that I should be ashamed of. I shouldn't have to feel guilty about that. And I've spent the last couple of days sharing my love of musical theatre with my boyfriend, ashamedly and apologetically, and keep asking, have you had too much? Should I stop? And he was going, no, I'm loving it. Carry on. I want more. And I've discovered that it's all right to like what you like. And that applies to literature as well, I think. Question number 6. Do you read in secret? Are there books you read but never talk about because of embarrassment, shame, or guilty about liking them? No. And I refer you to the answer to the previous question. I don't read in secret, and I don't have any of that shame or embarrassment about the books that I read. I have a certain amount of imposter syndrome about the books I read, because I'm being a booktuber and I feel that I ought to be better read. But generally speaking, I'm not secretive about what I read and I don't feel guilty about it. But again, for most of my life, I've felt secretive and embarrassed and guilty about enjoying musicals. No more. So that was my take on The Pain Over Joy reading tag by Jessica at Lady Lovestead Reads. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy it and you haven't already, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share, comment, do all that good stuff. I really could use some support right about now. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. See you later.